Welcome back. All right, quick news of the day video for all you fine people on the internet for your Wednesday, July the 19th. And arbitration is upon us. So Samsonov and the Leafs, the amount of money being sought by the player, the amount of money being offered by the team, reported by Elliot Friedman today. The team is offering $2.4 million for Samsonov, and the player wants $4.9 million. A huge gap in money. Obviously, Toronto dealing with, being up near and over the cap. They want to make sure that Samsonov, this deal gets done. You could be 10% above the cap during the offseason, but if Samsonov gets awarded around that $5 million mark, I don't know how Toronto's going to make it work. It's dicey as it is. At $2.5 million, sure, $5 million, that's another, it does make it very much more difficult. Now, Samsonov's coming off of a very good year. 27, 10, and 5 with a .919 save percentage. And so that's likely to be argued by himself and his agent, that he had a very good year and he deserves to be paid as such. And he's 26 years of age, so he's in his prime. The team may counter with his career numbers, 79, 32, and 10, which is good, but the .908 save percentage puts him a little bit below average overall. I think the save percentage in the NHL is still in the .908, .909 range. So he's right around average, maybe a little bit below, which would explain the $2.4 million. Now, for the arbitrator, he will hear both sides of the case. He then has 48 hours after that has been argued in front of him to make his decision. And then it will be on the Leafs as to whether or not they accept that decision and sign that offer, or if they walk away from it. So if the team gets a contract from the arbitrator they don't like, they have the right to walk away from it. But Toronto would be taking a huge risk if they ended up doing that, because now Samsonov would become an unrestricted free agent, and you leave yourself in a position where your goaltending looks a little spotty, right? So it'll be interesting to see if this does get there. Last year, I think Trennan was the only one that ended up going to arbitration. 2021, nobody actually ended up reaching arbitration. So Samsonov and the Leafs can still work this out and get this straightened out. Honestly, right in the middle is like $3.5 million. So I don't see any reason why $3.5 million shouldn't be a reasonable point. And you could make it a 1 or 2 year contract and then have the discussion later. Basically tell them, hey, prove that you're worth what you say you are over the next year or two, and you will absolutely get that. So let me know your thoughts on whether you think Samsonov deserves the 4.9, or if you agree with the team on the 2.4, or, discuss where you think he ends up. Dave Hakstol, coming off of a very good year running the bench for the Seattle Kraken. He has signed an extension with the team now that takes him into 2025-2026. So no lame duck coach behind the bench for the Seattle Kraken. They get an extension done with Hakstol, and he's earned it. Hakstol's a coach that, coming into last season, there was a lot of discussion about how long he might not last, and how having a little bit more pressure in Seattle with some additions might hurt him, especially coming off that 60-point expansion season. But he ends up being one of the best coaches in the league last year. And honestly, the Seattle Kraken, a pretty strong team. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Now, normally I don't report on number changes. Normally that's not a thing. But in this case, I wanted to bring this up. So Cole Sillinger, coming off of a pretty rough season, has changed his number from 34 to just 4. Now, part of the interesting thing of this is normally the number 4 is a defenseman number, right? Sillinger's a center. It's not unheard of for a forward to get the number 4, Taylor Hall being an example. Back in Edmonton, which was weird when he used the number 4. But yeah, so we'll see Sillinger wearing the number 4, and it might be to try to, bounce back. And as crazy as it may sound to have a number change, I remember when Pavel Bure went from 10 to 96, went back to 10 pretty quickly because he had no luck with 96. Players are superstitious, so coming off the nightmare season that Sillinger had, makes some sense to me that he would say, yeah, I need to change my number. Now, players changed teams today. I think the Bruins really wanted Nosek to come back. They just do not have cap space. And seeing how little this contract ends up costing the New Jersey Devils hurts a little bit, doesn't it? For the New Jersey Devils, they signed Nosek. It's a 1-year deal, $1 million per. $1 million in total. I had it in red because it hadn't been confirmed, but I've seen enough sources to confidently say, it's $1 million or in that range. But he's good on faceoffs. He's a decent penalty killer. Has he lost a step maybe from where he was 5 years ago? Sure, but he's still a useful bottom 6 guy that I think Boston ideally would have liked to keep around. They just don't have the cap space. And part of what's frustrating to Bruins fans right now is you can tell they're kind of waiting to hear what Bergeron's going to do before they spend any more money. And there's really no reason for Bergeron to necessarily come out and say anything at this point. So for New Jersey, good pickup with Nosek as the Bruins-Devils pipeline continues to be a thing. And I do wish him all the best. And it just adds more depth to a New Jersey team that already had a ton of depth. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.